So I guess this question's been brewing in my head because it's also kind of topical because, next week and everything. And I'm helping you with is when it comes to shooting music videos because, it's even when you walk into the studio for Tank Tank, there's like a whole big, no, not a whole big, but like there's a row of like some of your accomplishment made showing off what you did and shows the lead singer for System of a Down. So
Yeah.
like in that kind of sense to ask not just like specifically about that artist, but like in general, how much of like the music video process is the artist's vision and then like the person shooting and the person doing all the stuff behind the camera, their vision. Like how much would you say like goes into that? You think it's like 50-50 or like 60-40, so and so?
You mean how much is the musician's idea and how much is the director's idea?
Yes. Yes, basically.
Okay, it really just is going to depend on whatever project is, whatever project's project.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're asking me specifically about me, I'm a very lucky one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm unique in that the musicians that generally are working with me are picking me for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have such a unique vision as it is, and I can create such unique worlds and unique visions that
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of like, hey, we really just like what you can, envision and create. And they're kind of like really entrusting in what I'm going to bring to the table. I'll pitch them ideas, I'll bring these ideas to them, right? But they're not necessarily coming to me going, hey, I have this idea, Tawd.
Mm-hmm.
Take this idea and make it something.
Mm-hmm.
They're more coming to Tawd going, Tawd, you make amazing stuff. What would you make for this song?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of happening with me. Yeah. I tend to like to know a little bit of what they would imagine for themselves as well, because I'm a kind of a pleasing kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do like to make you happy if you're the one asking me to make you something. I don't want to just go make whatever I want. You're asking me to make you something. So I'm gonna try to make you happy. So what you have some idea. So
Yeah, and like having like a ground plan or like a like a little bit of a plan, see if they have any like thoughts or anything. That's kind of why I was like, it's like
well, songs mean
yeah,
something.
yeah, and you gotta know like that's kind of one of those like, do they how yeah that's really like how much of it is their idea and how much is it? But I can
It
understand
really
like
it can
yeah,
vary. I mean, some people could come if you're asking in general,
I
like
guess yeah in a general
now if
sense
you're to
too.
ask in general, it can be a gambit of things. Somebody could have a real rigid idea. I
Mm-hmm.
want this. This song means this to me, and I need this vision, and I want
Mm-hmm.
this storyline coming out from this song. And that storyline can also have nothing to do with the lyrics at all.
Mm-hmm.
And people do that a lot. And record labels actually like that. There was a time with music videos where they hated the idea of anybody taking the lyrics and making visuals directly connected to the lyrics. There was a real time where there was a no-no of doing that. I don't personally understand that. I don't, that doesn't jive with me. But I'm also from the, I come from the old school world of the Dead Kennedys,
Mm-hmm.
which was also a time where they used to sing about MTV Get Off the Air, where they didn't like music videos. So I also
Mm-hmm.
came from, even though I make music videos, I came from a time where music videos was a shanda. Like you
Mm-hmm.
didn't make music videos. Like, why are you making music videos? You're making a commercial for a song. A song is only supposed to be listened to.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another level within me as an artist where I actually like to take a literal interpretation of the song and make a music video. So I don't necessarily like to take the abstract concept of a song and go, oh, well, these are the lyrics that you're singing about, but I'm going to make a totally different vision.
Mm-hmm.
No, I actually would going, well, this is your song. Let's make your song into pictures. So there's something like that going on with me when I interpret things when I'm making music videos. So there's that going on too.
So, like, with what you're saying is, for you, you like to be the visual storyteller of the actual lyrics on screen instead of having a visual dichotomy of, like, having, the singer
Yeah,
singing
I mean, I
about pain
do.
and suffering. It's
There's a
just
lot
happiness.
within me. There's a piece of me that the music video is not my art; it's your art,
Mm-hmm.
as you being the musician, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not my art; it is your art. So I am making this for you, right? So
Yeah.
it's your song. It should be what your song is uh, setting out to do.
Okay. Okay. That that answers my question. So
Yes.
I'm gonna
It's
find the.
directors aren't necessarily out there to do that though. Now, directors are not necessarily out there to do that with music videos. They're really out there to make their little short films so that they can go make their movies.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just, I think that also kind of becomes the nature.
But
I don't want to say it's the nature.
what's funny about those directors is that those directors are not the people that end up writing their own scripts. They go and make other people's movies anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they're doing.
That's
They're like going, oh, I'm gonna go and totally like make a music video that's not about your script, which is the song lyrics. I'm gonna make up whatever I want, but when it comes to making up whatever I want for a movie, I gotta go find someone else's script. So I don't get it. I'm gonna go write my own script.
yeah. So okay, I'm gonna mute mine. So
I just don't write songs, so I can't make my own music videos.
I feel that.
I'm a repressed rock star, is really.
All right.
Well, I must make a confession. I did not make any new questions. I have kept the same ones.
Well, good, because I don't remember any of them.
Okay. Well, so I guess in terms of filmmaking, whether it be like music videos or whatever, it's like what got you into that? Who inspired you to get into that? Or yeah, what just inspired you to get into that field?
I don't know if I remember what actually inspired me to get into making movies. I mean, I used to watch a lot of movies. So I always wrote stories. I've always written stories. So writing stories was always my big thing. I always like to come up with stories and write stories. So and then somehow that turned into video cameras and pictures and performance and acting and all that sorts of stuff. Yeah. But there's not like something that's like, yeah, I think it was just, being an 80s kid and film being the thing. Yeah. And my grammar wasn't great in high school, so I wasn't writing books. So easier to write dialogue. Maybe that was really my thing. Yeah. That might have been the reason I got into movies and not books. Maybe. Because I wrote stories. It was all about stories.
Yeah, it seems to be a very common thing. You just start off writing random crap, and then after a while, for some people, they get a passion of it, and sometimes they don't, but it just depends on the person, really.
Yeah. Stories. Somehow it starts with stories.
It always starts off hearing stories and then realizing maybe I could do something with this thing.
Yeah. Except it's funny because I'm very, very creative in my time in high school and afterwards. But when I look back, and my mom and everyone around me always was, you were such a really creative kid. But I look back at all of my stuff that I wrote junior high and earlier, and I was a thief. I was a total thief. My stuff, I just like robbed everything that I was watching. All my stories were just some like kind of like, oh, this idea from other movies, some other, but like I would rewrite those ideas like completely. But like you could totally see what like TV shows or movies I was watching at the time, that I was like totally rewriting these ideas. I was a total little thief as a kid, but I was very creative as a thief. But then when I got older, I didn't steal anymore.
Well, I mean, granted, writers like, well, I wouldn't really call it stealing because, to be quite fair, there are some ideas like there is this saying that nothing is original anymore. It's like everything comes from like something, and there's some truth to it. Every single idea comes from something. It's just a matter of are you going to, it's just a matter of doing something new with that idea, making something unique with that idea, and just simply justifying your existence.
Well,
Because more
we
often than,
all practice and we have to learn from something.
yeah,
Like they always say, you have to, know the rules to break the rules. So maybe,
yeah.
as a young mind, I was just absorbing all the rules by, copying them at that time, instead of trying to invent the wheel. I don't know. I was a kid. I don't even remember. James didn't ask me anything.
James, I was gonna say, I just thought I saw you like light a fire. It's like, bro, what are you doing with that fire, bro?
Oh, he blew it out.
I'm making a birthday card for my dad. His birthday's on the 13th.
Oh
Oh,
crap! That
nice.
reminds me, Father's Day soon. Shit.
I wanted to put a wax seal on his, birthday
Oh.
card.
Oh, nice.
I'll have to at least go do something for my dad for Father's Day. Probably I'll go pick him up something after on my way back from doing the thing with Todd.
Oh, is that Father's Day?
Yeah, that's Father's Day. It's fine. No, I just sorry. I just realized that.
So James,
So
if
James, do
you're
you have
done
any
with your
questions?
card, we are doing an interview right now. So if you do you have something you want to query for Todd?
Sure. Just give me 1 second. Over the course of your career, have you ever got to meet any other creators like you? Like, did you ever get to meet, actors and directors in the industry who have given you any good pointers or whatnot?
The guy over there next to me on the screen. Doug. Yeah. Yeah. Most of all, Doug. For real. I mean, there's like, I couldn't ask for a better mentor myself than Doug. Yeah. I mean, Doug's seen it all and he's done it all. And so, yep, just really, and he's been there kind of, yeah, I met Doug, I think it was like within 2 years of me moving to LA. So I graduated college at NYU and I remained in New York for 1 more year. And then I moved to LA. And so I was at a college for 3 years before I met Doug. So Doug's, been in my life and, met my mentor and my go-to. I have a question about career and industry and what the heck's, and I lean on Doug a lot, actually. Yeah. So,
It's very beautiful.
yeah.
But speaking of famous people, I wanted to ask, like, when you actually started to get into the business, the actual industry, did you meet like anyone else of note other than like Doug? Like any other
Absolutely.
famous people?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have there's a laundry list. So, do you want to know them all?
I mean, just the, I guess ones of like
Well, you've met a few. You guys met Martin Olson.
yeah.
Yeah. So Martin Olson, I met also very early on in my career. I met him when I worked and was hanging out at the Jim Henson Company. And me and Martin became very, very close when I was there. And you probably go, well, why was I even there at the Jim Henson Company? And I was at the Jim Henson Company because my very close girl from my age, who was my living girlfriend, we were together for a very long time, 10 years. She was an intern at the Jim Henson Company. But not only was she an intern at the Jim Henson Company, but because of that, I had made a friendship and become friends with Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son. And me and Brian Henson used to hang out a lot. And I used to go to the Jim Henson lot and hang out with Brian. And I used to do stuff at the Jim Henson Company on their lot. And I used to hang out with a woman named Stephanie Elaine, who was known for discovering Robert Rodriguez. Do you know Robert Rodriguez?
That name sounds familiar, yeah.
He made El Mariachi, and then he ended up becoming a very famous director who did Spy Kids.
Oh, I remember. Oh, yeah. That brings me.
Hey, you know, that's a to make a little bit of a joke about it is like that's a hood classic there. That's sure. I used to love Dimension Studios. So
I used to spend some time with those guys. They were very close with me. They liked my work a lot. They were trying to help me out. I spent time with Roseanne Barr. Man, I don't know. There's a lot of people. Mayim Bialik.
Well,
You know Mayim Bialik?
not really.
a little bit, yeah. The lady who plays Amy Farrah Fowler in a Big Bang Theory, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh.
I actually
Annie Potts. I don't know if you guys would. You know Annie Potts. She was in Ghostbusters, wasn't she?
which one? There's like 6.
No, early Ghost. The first two
The
Ghostbusters.
first one, yeah.
Wasn't she the secretary?
Maybe.
Yeah, right. Annie Potts was the secretary.
Yeah, her, yeah.
Annie Potts.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
Yeah, that lady.
Yeah. Annie Potts. She was in a music video I did with Lynette Louise. For Lynette Louise is an autism guru. So she works with autistic families, and she helps them a lot. And she helped me get into autism and work with autistic you guys a lot. And we're very close. And she does music. Lynette does a lot of music, and she does a lot of songs about autism. And Annie Potts was in a music video that me and Lynette did about autism. And so Annie Potts was in that. Yeah, various stuff.
Too many people, I guess. Too many people.
There's a few. Yeah.
So this is kind of going back to the music video.
Paul McCartney's stepmom. That's a weird one, right? Paul McCartney's stepmom plays the dying grandma in the Anna Karenina Chronicles. Yeah.
Are there any other directors you met other than like actors or
Not famous directors? Well, Mr. Lawrence is my friend.
Oh.
Mr. Lawrence is Plankton.
Oh yeah.
SpongeBob SquarePants, but he's a director. He directs a bunch of those animated episodes. Yeah.
I actually this kind of has to do with animation because I kind of sat down for a second while we had some
Kevin Kerslake, but that's your done.
Good. Anyway, so going to sit down, and I went through real quickly, watched and listened to the whole thing too for the Unthinking Majority music video. So that is your artistic vision of that song.
Completely.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And what was kind of like the thought process behind
that was cool.
The video for Unthinking Majority, because I like that visual style.
That was a big moment for me. That's a big Tawd career moment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had just gotten married, my first wife, not Faith, my first wife. I had just gotten married, and I was on my honeymoon, and that I was in Yosemite. And I guess my parents called me because I guess they found me at my parents. My parents called me, and Surge's label was looking for me because they wanted me to do that video. It was like a rush job, and they had found me in Yosemite, and they needed me because they needed me to start it right away. And so like, I was like, okay, that's like awesome. Like, wow, married, and wow, I get this job like right away. So it was a very cool thing. And nobody knew that Surge had even recorded this album. Nobody. It was a total top secret because he was in System of a Down. Nobody, System of a Down had not broken up, right? So they hadn't disbanded. Surge had recorded this whole solo album. Nobody knew about it. I was the only person they called. They said, hey, we want you to make this music video. We're going to announce the whole album by releasing this video, but we don't want Surge in it because we don't want it to be about Surge. We just want it to be about the music. So what would you make was one of those things, right? Tawd, we love everything that you do. What would you make that doesn't have Surge in it? So it can be totally all about whatever you. So I said, oh, let's do it with these army men. I had made this one little short about these army men shooting each other, and I showed it to them, and they're like, yeah, do that. And so I went and I did that.
Yeah, I like, especially it kind of, it sounds a little bit weird to say, like how it kind of ties back into the actual music too, because like there's the whole thing about the army men being sent to, you know, basically like collect all this stuff for like a brand X type like solution or whatever it is, and it's being, at least how I interpret it, is being peddled out to the public, and then it looks kind of seems like the, you know, kind of cityscape that's going into is kind of going into chaos as the soldiers are kind of, it's kind of a little bit hard to interpret just because, yeah, I only watched just like a bit ago.
It's not hard to interpret. It's right all about the Iraq war. It was not hard to interpret.
And that's
right?
especially it is of the time. Yeah,
There's he writes a whole. I'm probably attached to the video still, or if you Google it, you can probably find he wrote a whole essay about the song and the release of the song and the video. There's an essay that's attached to the song, what it's all about and everything. So you can find like it's a reaction to what was happening at that time. We went to war. It was bad. It was all about oil. Surge is very, very political.
And you could really see it in like
and
just
then
the iconography of the music video. Yeah.
And then what he did is he made a music video for every single song on that album to follow. Yeah. Yeah. And then we did a whole release of all of those music videos. Yeah. It was cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, because like even like through watching it, and like I guess like a sub question to that is for the animated segments, and those are all in your style as well. That's all your your artwork.
Nobody else worked on the videos.
Okay, it's cool. It's really cool. I just wanted to make sure because like I could see, because you know I've been in your studio. I've seen like the art on your walls. I was like, okay, yeah, and like especially the part with the pills and everything, being popped and everything. Is like this is a very like Tawd art. It's like I can see where like this kind of comes from. So.
Yep.
So
yeah. You more or less all the more than less everything that you see that's directed by Tawd B. Dorenfeld is also made by Tawd B. Dorenfeld. And at most there would be 3 other people's hands, physical hands, maybe doing some form of design on stuff. And there's only going to be like 10% out of the 100% of Tawd's work that you're going to find out. 90% of Tawd's work is Tawd.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And like going back to that, and I can actually, with you giving me explaining that to me, I can actually see the parallels. Even though albeit I was only like 11 when the music video came out at the time, at least the timestamp I'm looking at right now. That was still very prevalent. We were having so much content being put out around that time of the time that was very centric towards the war. So yeah, I can now to kind of get that put there. Yeah, I can definitely see that, and I can see like even through the visuals of how just kind of how messed up it is trying to keep that part PG, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna mute that.
Okay, well, I guess I'll probably just repeat a question from like before. So how did you like what inspired you to start like Think Tank Anime? Because I knew you from like I knew you from Exceptional Minds first before I got transferred over to Think Tank Anime. So
Yes.
like what like got you started into making
Well,
Think Tank Anime?
earlier, I had gone on to like, I remember this question. I had gone on to like a little like spiel about individuals and their inspiration, but I'm going to kind of generalize it now. What really inspired me to start Think Tank Animate was the idea that I was seeing that autism was getting a lot of focus on giving employable skills. This term, I kept hearing employable skills, employable skills, employable skills. And what I was not hearing was the term storytelling, voice, and content. And the one thing that always seems to matter to me more than anything, and the thing that seems to matter to us as a population, as a human species, is the author and the writer. We always love and hold the author and the writer on a pedestal, right? We as people go, this is a person that we, admire. This person matters to us, and then rightfully so. I'm not like saying, oh, it's not like just because someone throws a football and we put them on a pedestal. Well, rightfully so, we put the authors and the writers on a pedestal. But autism, we're just giving them employable skills, and it's very robotic thought. And I'm going, no, I want to put them on a pedestal. And so I wanted to give autism the storytelling opportunity, the opportunity to write, to use their voice, to give them the place to express that, the opportunity to express it, and the tools to express that storytelling in that way. And nobody else was giving that little bubble for them. They were giving them these skill sets, and the skill sets are great, but you'll get all those skills if you have a story to tell. But if you only have skills, then you basically are just going to use those skills for someone else's story, and you're just there for somebody else. And why should you be there for somebody else when you can be there for yourself? And I wanted to do that for you guys. And that's why I started Think Tank. That's the real reason.
Yeah, I find that
I just saw people like yourself, Jenna, and Alex and Andres as people that had that potential, but nowhere to exercise that potential. And so that's why I made Think Tank.
Yeah, I find very interesting that you talk about how like everybody kept throwing around the terms like employable skills or something. It's like, and the way you describe it, it's like it almost sounds like they're just throwing people with autism in the industry and just not doing anything. They're just doing like, okay, we have the representation, now leave us alone, and they're not even doing anything with it. It's like you're not like, you're just making us exist and not doing anything with us. You're just making us exist. Okay, we employed the things, now leave us alone. And it's like, it's not great. Kind of treat us like objects at that point.
Well, that sadly, that's what inclusion is going to get you. Sadly to say, that's why you got to have a think tank too, because inclusion is only going to get you to be treated like objects. Because once you're just have skills like every other employee is merely an object. And that's what I'm saying. Because if you're just an employee, you're merely an object because you're working for someone else's vision. And you don't want to work for someone else's vision. You want to work for your vision, or you want to be working with a team that you do support and that you are empowered to be on, like a think tank team, like working for a Dryw vision, right? And then Dryw working on a Jenna vision, right? Something that you guys are empowered to do, as opposed to a non-neurodiverse vision that you're not empowered to do.
Yeah, that seems to be a problem with the wider industry in general, just treating them more like gears in the machine rather than like individual voices. That seems to be a very common thing that seems a lot of people are getting frustrated about.
It's very expensive.
Yes, yes, like it is expensive, but like
It's expensive. It's a lot of these studios, you know, the one thing we do have to always kind of take in mind that it's very expensive. There's a big debate going on. I don't know if you I have caught wind of the very rude thing that the CEO of Spotify said about music creators, about how much, you know, it doesn't cost them anything to create content, you know, because they're just making music, which it is, you know, relatively true, because, you know, you can just strum a guitar and make music and it does not cost you anything. But the amount of money that it costs for a studio to employ all of those individuals to continue their lives is tremendous. And the healthcare and all of the things that go into every single person that works in a studio is tremendous. It's a huge overhead and cost. So they don't necessarily always have the kind of say luxury to treat their ideas like precious little things for their audience like we want them to. They kind of are stuck a little bit treating them as monetary commodities because they got to pay all those people's health insurance. They got to pay all those people's lives and livelihoods that work there, because it is employment, right? And if they don't pay for those people, all those people are unemployed and none of them are working. So you either get the Marvel movies that are blockbusters and pay for these people's lives and health insurance and kids' foods and houses, or you get great movies all the time that maybe don't. I don't know. Like it's a real tough thing for some of these companies. But that's not our business, right? We're not necessarily in that full business all the time. So we don't need to totally criticize them. We just have to try to do our work the best we can.
yeah, I don't know. It's just part of me. It's like, I think you can find a way to pay your employees really well while still creating like a very unique, brand new artistic vision that does something new with like a formula or a genre or whatever. But yeah, I understand. Like I've been thinking
I don't disagree. I just don't think that
it's not as simple.
it's just not that simple. And I think risks are sometimes taken, and every now and then you get it, And then other times you don't get it so much, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I've been like thinking about like sometimes. And this is a big struggle that like these people with these companies with like billions of dollars, it's like either they create something that makes a lot of money, but nobody's going to remember in the next year, or you create something entirely unique that has lasted for centuries, but it doesn't do well at the box office. It's like it's just weird. It's a very like it's a balance. It's a like a tug of war.
Kind of like a lightning in a bottle, cult classic kind of situation,
Yeah.
so to say. So
Feels like, but it also feels like I don't know, I could be wrong on this, but um it almost feels like they're trying to force a lightning in a bottle without actually understanding what that term means, without really taking, and that's the thing, it's like they're not taking time to flesh out these ideas to actually make something new. Instead, they're just going, oh, we did the thing, we did all the things, and just pump it out, and that's it. It's like, that's not going to last. Nobody's going to remember that because you don't do anything new. You just
yeah,
kind of,
it's like taking the risk, but taking it way too careful, where it just ends up kind of not, having any long term effect. Is it kind
yeah,
of what you mean?
yeah. It's like you're not even, you're not taking even that much risks anyway. You're just, oh, we did the plot beats, we did all the things, we did the things, and that's it. Nothing, anything new. We just did the thing, and we just pump it out. And it's like, well, it just doesn't work. Nobody's gonna remember that because you don't do anything new with it.
People like Godzilla -1.
That was actually,
Yeah.
I think, not to
I
get too
saw.
deep. I was gonna say not to get too deep into that, but I do think in a contextualizing, um, in the kind of storytelling of taking this long, long-standing character that's been, not to say bastardized, but there's a lot of times that you could say that the character has been bastardized to a point, with like stuff like the early to mid, Heisei era movies and all that kind of stuff, even to the Americanized stuff and kind of some of the mid to late 2000s stuff, to kind of go back to its roots and kind of say, and reinterpret that as survivor's guilt. That's a very interesting thing. I'm getting off of that. I just wanted to put that point out there
But
because you
that is
mentioned it.
very interesting that like many people like Godzilla -1. I guess you could say a more experimental film, a more experimental way of looking at the character of Godzilla and what Godzilla represents. And I think it also shows that with the success of it, I think it's successful. I don't know how it did at the box office, but I know that there is a market for experimental films. People, the public want experimental films. And as these mediocre and sanitized sequels and remakes continue to be pumped out, people are slowly realizing they're getting sick and tired of it. They know like they're just getting tired of it and they want something new. They want to see something new. I mean,
I
sure, it
think
may not always be successful, but they just want to see something that actually you could remember.
I think, and I know I'm not the only one to say this, and I kind of wish that something like this would happen. Is that, and I know it's probably better that we make these parts of the conversation a little bit shorter, but there's, obviously everybody knows like Ang Lee's Hulk movie didn't do very well at the box office, but a lot of people like that because it kind of deals with not just Hulk being a big angry green monster, it deals with the mental like trauma of like I can't think, Bruce Banner's father abusing him, and it's just like the Hulk is a manifestation of the trauma, built on that, and the Hulk is literally this child, like getting his frustrations out, and that's something you don't see way too many often because a lot of people didn't like it because of the visual style, where it's like you actually sit down and actually watch the movie list and like see the story, it's actually, you know, a deep dive into the psychology of the character. And like, you know, you don't get that too much nowadays. You just kind of get get a short stint of a character, like, my dad was mean to me when I was younger, never bring it up later on, you know. That's something I want to see. If they bring this stuff back again, I want to see more of a deep mental dive into the psyche of this person, and instead of just like 5 minutes running gun and then like maybe a short joke to jab at it. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion on that kind of, you know, subject matter, like that kind of
And
thing. I want a deep story for this character because we've had it done before, and we can do it with we can do it. Just nobody's taking the risk to do it
And-
again.
and even if corporations do try and like push, like take some risks, it's always a one step forward, two steps back mentality,
Mhm.
and that's frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sorry.
anyway, what's your thoughts, Todd? That was a lot of
Yeah,
information.
you can put your thoughts on that.
Well, I think the new Winnie the Pooh movie looks like they're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, the Christopher Robin one where it's kind of I didn't
Where
get
he
to
kills,
fully
where he
finish that.
kills everybody.
Oh, that one.
Oh.
Never mind.
Well,
Honestly-
what do you guys want? You're talking about taking the Hulk and you want his dad to beat him more. You're talking about taking kid stuff and making it for adults. Like, I don't know what you guys want.
No.
No, that this was something
no.
that happened before. It's like I guess it's because
I'm joking. I'm joking.
oh,
I'm giving you a hard time. I'm giving you a hard time about it.
I know, but
okay.
like, yeah.
So, do you have any questions about me?
Yeah, actually,
talking
no, those
about?
were. Yeah. Sorry,
I don't write the Hulk. I have no power.
no.
No,
I
That
mean,
was
like, this
or
whole,
anything.
I mean, this conversation between like basically with me and Dryw about like, you know, corporations and like crap like that, and they're one step forward, two steps back, not taking any risks. This tug of war sort of battle. It's like, what are your thoughts about all that?
You can't ask corporations to take risks.
Of course.
Stop asking them to do that, because every time they do that, they get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Really, you guys, I'm going to be real serious about this for a second. Let's really look at this. So go back and look at that documentary about Nickelodeon and see what happens when they take risks. Okay? It's not good when corporations take risks. It's not good when corporations take risks around anything that has to do with children's programming. Okay? Superheroes is children's programming. You can't ask these corporations to take risks. You can't ask them to mess around with kid stuff. Don't ask them. Teenagers are kid stuff. It's not a fun thing. I had to get serious there for a second because we were joking around a little bit.
And
But it's
I get that.
not, you don't want the word risk with having to do with anything that's PG. I'm sorry, I'm a cool guy and I make really, really risque, really hardcore, crazy stuff that is NR, not rated stuff, right? And I do believe that teenagers can watch my stuff, right? Because my stuff is not being made in a way that's going to warp your brain, right? But when you ask corporations to take risks, they don't do it in a way that has these sort of, it's not that the content is taking risks, it's the people that want to take the risks that they don't have the guardrails. They don't have the moral compass guardrails in those situations.
yeah.
And they keep grabbing the wrong people because
Yeah.
the people that want to take the risks in those positions don't actually want to be making the content for those audiences. They want to be making content for older audiences, and they see these people as something very different. And what is that documentary that just came out? It's all about
Like Dan Schneider or something.
yes.
But I know which one you're talking about. I just can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But
I
it was
think
like
it's called Nickelodeon Years or Orange Years.
Yeah, it's
no,
the
something.
it's about that variety show that he had.
It was like the whole era of like his
And
I don't
how sexualized that entire 10 years of Nickelodeon was
mhm.
with these teenage kids and preteen kids. The entire 10 years. And that entire 10 years is considered risk-taking entertainment.
Mhm.
And
like,
those Jenna, those are considered that's considered the good years. Those were the rock star years of Nickelodeon. Those are the years that had the best ratings, the best money came in. That's like they made the best content. They broke the best stars, like everything that we considered the most original content. Like all this stuff that we're talking about is like, when did they do good stuff and create original content? It's so sad. It's so depressing. This documentary is so depressing because it was that time that it happened. And it's at that time that the worst stuff happened.
Yeah, and like
And
And
it's because you're asking PG people and G people to take risks. And one thing that I learned at in college when I took children's programming as a minor, as it was my minor in college, was that it's very important to write for your audience. Like you're looking down, you're not bringing these people up to you. You have to go down to them. And that's why Sesame Street is such a beautiful and powerful program, right? Because it's never, ever, ever, ever lifting the child up to the adult's level. It's always bringing all the adults down to the children's level. And it's always riding to that level and never trying to bring any of the work up. Shrek was the beginning of the end of good children's programming because Shrek started to bring the jokes up.
mhm.
And Shrek is terrible. Shrek is garbage because it makes adults laugh in the theater. No adult needs to laugh watching any children's movie ever.
Yeah, and
No joke needs to make an adult laugh. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to clarify, and
Yeah.
I feel like I went a little bit off, and I don't.
That's okay.
Because obviously there is a wrong way to take risks. Like I think of course I'm not asking for corporations to do
No,
I'm
not. I didn't think you were. I'm not saying that you were. What I'm saying is they filter it incorrectly.
yeah.
mhm.
Our request as the public is correct, right? We want them to make deeper, more thoughtful, more risky stories, right?
Yeah.
Don't be so, you don't have to be so safe. I can take
Mhm.
a little trauma, I can take a little fear, I can take a little of this stuff, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to be so safe.
Yeah.
They don't interpret, they go crazy, right? They suddenly interpret that with something overtly sexualized, something overtly violent, something, right? They miss the boat. Suddenly I'm like, no, I didn't mean that. I meant I wanted the dad to tell the son, I don't like you because you're gay. That's what I wanted the father to say to the kid. And they're going, no, we didn't want that. We wanted the father to, you're like, well, it's like they interpret it. It gets filtered incorrect. And that's all I'm saying about when you ask the corporations. That's what
Yeah.
happens with the filter.
Yeah, because sometimes they want the bigger action, and they'll want like the father to physically, literally, assault the child instead of like verbally,
Yeah,
which that doesn't
goes
sell
to
the
the
ticket.
next level where you're like, well, you didn't need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, and I understood. I was just, and that's what I was saying. My thing is like kind of just taking a deeper dive into a character's kind of whole psyche,
And
and yeah,
and also just making it more of a realistic, like more down to earth.
realistic, but yeah.
Realistically as it's gonna get, but just like, at least a more down to earth sort of thing that I don't know if that made sense, but
But that's why we're here. That's why you guys
Yeah.
gotta write and try to make your stuff as much as you guys can. And even at small budgets, you make stuff and you put it out, and
Yeah.
you hope other people see it. And that's
I-
just the way you do it.
That reminds me, I still gotta find my script for a thing. I might not be able to do it for a film festival. Well, I mean, I could save it for a film festival, but I just had an idea for like a short. It's a short, but it's like a date story of just like, but it interprets. I think I've told you this. It interprets the person, the neurodivergent person, as a puppet because they don't feel like they fit in until he gets accepted, or he feels more accepted by the person he's going out with. Then he feels like he does kind of have a sense of fitting in. I don't know. That's a thing for another day. That's a conversation I can have with you like next Sunday.
That sounds cool. I
Yeah.
like
So,
the idea.
so yeah.
I know we're kind of running toward the end of the hour. One question I was thinking of that any of you hosts could ask is what Tawd has seen change, because he's been in the game a while, and he invented Tink Tank, and now you're at Tink Tank. So, like, how do you encounter Tawd and Tink Tank, if you know what I mean? Like, how do you encounter Tawd at Tink Tank and then ask him if that was his intention? Like, how do you like it? Do you like Tink Tank? Is it something that you think you can take forward into anything else you do? Do you know what I mean? Like, you guys aren't getting grades, you guys aren't going to get a degree, but you're going to create all these pieces of art. And Tawd has been following you guys, sometimes for years. Do you get what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Is Think Tank working for you? If it is, applaud Tawd. And if it isn't, just dialogue about what is Think Tank to you, and was that Todd's intention? Do you know what I mean?
I think what I really still appreciate is that you have given all these creators a voice, and you've given me. I've texted you it many times. I've said to you in person many times. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to help with some of these projects, especially seeing like some of Andreas's projects or some of the projects that we've worked on over the past couple of years. I always really appreciate it. I always appreciate your dedication to the art form. Even there's times I'm okay with it. I'm just saying it as like observational. Like how like hard you go into it. Oh, I'm like, whoa, this is going very hard into it. But that's something I still appreciate, is just because of the dedication to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's at least what I appreciate from it. And many times I will still say I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity. I've said that way too many times. Yeah. So.
Well, you're welcome.
I guess my like thoughts, and like mine's a little bit of a weird scenario because I got introduced to Tink Tank Anime from being at Exceptional Minds, like I don't know, like for like I don't know, like before Tink Tank Animated, I was at Exceptional Minds, which was introduced by my parents, something like, this is something that, could be fun, could help you express your creativity and stuff. And then I met Todd through it. And then that's when I got transferred over to Think Tank Animate. And, if I'm going to be completely honest, it's like, this is probably going to be my only chance to actually be in the industry, because nowadays it's like it's like almost difficult. Like, but it's difficult because, I mean, like we talk about a lot, corporations are not going to do, they're not going to do the work. They're not even going to. It's up to us as individual creators to actually move that needle. The corporations are not going to do it. So I feel like, because of things of not only YouTubers, like YouTube animators and stuff, but also stuff like this being formed, especially for people on the autism spectrum who have not always had a voice in this industry, I think this is probably this has been helpful, even if I haven't posted a lot, even if I haven't published a lot. I hope to make something. I don't know. I hope to do something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna do fine. You're doing great, Jenna.
Even if
they
even if
take
my
time.
even if my film is taking forever and I want this thing out and I don't know what I want to do.
It's okay, but films take a while. They take time.
Yeah.
There is something I wanted to say. I'll let James say his thing real quick, but I'll let him say his thing. I just want to say, that concept of the inner thoughts kind of being brought out that you showed me last week, I really like that concept. I don't know, there's just something about that. It's like an intrusive thoughts being let out. Just something about that resonates with me. You know what I mean?
Cool.
That's just what I want to say. Okay, well, James, you want to? I'll let you say your bit.
So what would you guys like me to say?
Say your piece about what you feel about like what Todd's done for you, like like
How you feel
like
about
how you
Tank?
feel about Tink Tank and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I feel great about Think Tank. I mean, I like that these guys really like my ideas, and I feel like these guys really help me with, like, not only just being creative and whatnot, but it also gives me some people to talk to. Like, if I have ideas I want to share, or if I'm looking for creative input, that kind of thing. I think Think Tank's helped me a bunch.
Yeah, man.
And I do want to add is that I've gotten to like do things that that not many people like. I think I started doing this when I was like in high school, around high school.
Yeah.
And not many people at my age would be like doing what I'm doing. And I know that sounds like weird or something, but like it makes me feel extremely fortunate in the position that I am.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome, you guys.
And I'm I'm sorry I'm buttering you up. I just really can't thank you enough for the opportunity you've given me. Especially I'm a small ass town, dinky tiny ass town in Michigan type of kid. I don't even think I could have gotten this far if it wasn't for like me putting my stuff out there at first. Somebody sharing that with Mikhail, and then Mikhail sharing it with you, all that kind of stuff. I do really appreciate it, and I'm a
Only
very
done.
yeah, and I really hope this spans decades. I hope for me at least, for this spans forever. Yeah. I want this to go. Yeah, I'm trying not to like.
Who knows? Maybe Tink
I
Tank
gotta go
Animate could
too.
actually become a fully functioning studio, like an actual like full studio, not just like a brick and mortar sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it will. I think it is. I believe it is. I mean, we really actually are. So it's not like not becoming, it is. We do it, you guys. Yeah.
Slowly, very slowly.
Slowly but surely.